Welcome to the Health Headliner podcast by Tudu Digital. Our content is informational only and not medical advice. Please consult your provider. Now, let's dive into today's headlines.
How much of your waking life do you spend just, zoning out, daydreaming,
Hmm.
maybe scrolling through your phone without really taking anything in? We've all been there, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And usually we think of those moments as, wasted time, lost productivity.
Yeah, that's the common thinking.
But what if I told you that those seemingly unproductive moments might actually be crucial for making you smarter, for boosting your memory, learning, and overall cognitive power?
It's a fascinating paradox, isn't it?
Yeah.
From an evolutionary perspective, you'd think spacing out when you could be, finding food or avoiding danger would be a terrible strategy.
Right. Seems counterintuitive.
Yet, these periods of disengagement are a universal feature of human experience. Our deep dive today, pulling insights from a recent health news article and multiple cutting-edge scientific papers, reveals that these moments, along with a few other surprisingly simple neuroscience-based strategies, are far from wasted.
I find that so compelling, the idea that something we just dismiss as unproductive could be profoundly beneficial. Our mission today is to, cut through the noise and give you a shortcut to being truly well-informed about practical memory enhancement. We're going to unpack 5 actionable steps derived directly from this source material.
Now, what's great is that these aren't complex, time-consuming methods.
Not at all. Some require just minutes or, as you just hinted, maybe even no conscious effort at all. So let's dig in.
Let's do it.
Okay, so our first truly simple yet powerful strategy involves something you do all the time, speaking. We're talking about what researchers call the production effect.
The production effect, right?
The core idea is incredibly straightforward. When you perform an action during learning, like simply saying something aloud, it significantly improves your memory of that information.
And what's genuinely fascinating here is the scientific rigor behind this. A study published in the Journal of Experimental Psychology really brought this to light. They discovered that just saying words aloud, or even quietly mouthing them, makes them much more memorable.
Wow, even just mouthing them.
Yeah. This benefit is particularly noticeable in studies where people learn some words by speaking them and others by just reading silently. It really highlights how powerful that active production is compared to, passive engagement.
So it's not like saying some words aloud somehow messes up your memory for the silently read ones.
No, not at all. The boost is specifically for the items you produce.
Yeah.
And it's a robust effect, too. It works even for made-up words or when you're already processing information really deeply, like thinking about the meaning of words.
Okay.
It just adds another layer of memorability.
So what's the theory there? Why does just saying it help so much?
Well, this phenomenon is often explained by what's called the distinctiveness hypothesis.
Distinctiveness.
The theory is that when you produce a word aloud, it creates a unique mental fingerprint or a specific processing record in your memory. It's like your brain stamps that particular word with a special ID, making it stand out from all the silently read words.
Ah, I see. So it's not just repetition.
Yeah, exactly. Later, when you're trying to recall it, this unique processing record can be sort of replayed in your mind, acting as a diagnostic cue that helps you confidently identify and recall that information.
That's the real genius of it, making that memory distinctly yours in your brain's filing system.
Precisely.
So the practical takeaway here for you listening is incredibly simple and almost effortless. When you encounter important information you want to remember, whether it's a new name, a key fact, a new concept, just say it aloud.
Right. Or if you're in a public place, discreetly mouth it to yourself.
Yeah, just mouth it. That brief physical act can make a tangible difference in how well that information sticks in your brain.
It's a small action with a potentially big payoff.
Okay, that's a powerful tool, just speaking it. But what about the information you already have? Or maybe more complex ideas, like, say, everything discussed in a client meeting. How do we cement those into long-term memory?
Good question. Our next strategy tackles that with surprising simplicity. Brief mental replay.
Mental replay.
Yeah. So you've just learned something new, perhaps a client's requirements or the steps for a new software. Instead of immediately jumping to the next task, take just a moment to mentally replay that information.
Okay, so you're talking about memory consolidation.
Exactly. This taps into that powerful process. Think of it as the brain's crucial behind-the-scenes work, transforming those fresh, temporary memories into more stable, long-lasting ones. A 2015 study in the Journal of Neuroscience really dug into this.
And what did they find? Was it significant?
Oh, yeah. They found it was truly impactful. Just a brief period of rehearsal-like mentally replaying an event, reviewing what was said in a meeting, or mapping out steps for a task significantly improves the likelihood that you'll remember those complex, lifelike events for 1 to 2 weeks.
Wow, for weeks, just from a quick replay.
Right. And the amazing thing, researchers found this grief replay activity lights up a specific part of your brain, the posterior cingulate, almost as if that part is dedicated to filing away new information.
That's fascinating. So how brief are we talking?
Well, their findings suggest that even a quick 40-second burst of mental replay can have what the researchers described as a huge effect.
40 seconds. That's nothing.
Exactly. It's not about hours of rote memorization. It's about giving your brain that essential short window to solidify what it just took in.
So after that important meeting, or maybe once you finish reading a crucial document, try it. Take 40 seconds. Just close your eyes or look away from your screen and mentally walk through what you just absorbed.
That short burst of internal review genuinely helps your brain file it away for longer-term access.
Okay, strategy number 3. This one feels a little counterintuitive, doesn't it? Making a prediction.
It really does. But the science strongly suggests it works. It turns out that simply asking yourself if you will remember something can actually improve your recall.
Seriously, just asking the question helps.
It truly is fascinating. Research published in the Canadian Journal of Experimental Psychology revealed this effect. They found that the act of asking yourself, will I remember to do this, can boost your recall by as much as 50% in some cases.
50%? That's huge.
It is. And this is especially effective for what they call prospective memories, which are memories about remembering to perform a planned action in the future.
Ah, okay. Like remembering to follow up with a customer or check on something later in the day?
Exactly. Things like that. It's like reminding your future self, but just by asking the question now.
That's genuinely surprising. So why does that work? Do we know?
Well, the why behind this isn't fully pinned down, but there are 2 leading hypotheses. One is that it acts as a form of self-testing, which we know is a very effective learning strategy.
Right. Testing yourself helps.
The other idea is that asking the question involves activating a mental representation of that anticipated future situation, which essentially makes the plan more accessible to your brain when the time comes.
I see. It sort of primes the brain for the future task.
Kind of. This act helps your hippocampus, a critical brain region for memory, informing and indexing those specific memories for later retrieval.
Okay, so the takeaway.
Before you leave for that appointment, or right after you set a reminder to call someone back, take a moment, just pause and ask yourself, will I remember to do this? That simple act alone can significantly increase your chances of actually remembering it when it truly matters.
Amazing. Okay, now for our 4th strategy. This one brings us back to that idea we started with, challenging that notion of wasted time.
Ah, yes, the value of zoning out.
Exactly. It's about intentionally zoning out for a few minutes. We're talking about offline waking rest, and it's far from unproductive. In fact, it seems it's a critical cognitive function.
Absolutely. The Nature Reviews Psychology study by Erin Wamsley provides so much insight here. She highlights that humans spend nearly half of their waking hours in an offline state, daydreaming, mind-wandering, or simply being inattentive to immediate surroundings.
Nearly half. That's incredible.
It is. And it presents that evolutionary paradox we mentioned. Why would we dedicate so much time to something that seems to detract from immediate survival tasks?
So what's the answer?
The emerging answer points to its essential role in memory consolidation.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me. The core finding from this research is that even a few minutes of eyes closed rest, or what is described as offline waking rest, can improve memory, possibly to the same degree as a full night of sleep for newly learned information.
That's the really striking part. This state permits the reactivation of recently formed memory traces, the brain literally replaying and strengthening what you just learned.
Reactivation again.
Yes, which helps to stabilize new memories, contributing to the early stages of consolidation in the first few minutes after encoding.
So it's like the brain needs that quiet moment to process things.
Essentially, yes. The underlying mechanism here is that optimal memory consolidation occurs when the brain's cognitive resources, the ones needed for consolidation, are unoccupied.
So not actively thinking about something else.
Right. This can happen even in the presence of external stimuli, but it's often interrupted by too much active attention to internal thoughts or imagery.
Interesting. And what about just like mind wandering for a few seconds? Does that count?
It seems so. What's more, the concept of ultra-short offline states suggests that even seconds-long periods of disengagement from external stimuli, like during spontaneous mind-wandering, can promote memory consolidation through similar brain processes.
Wow, it's like quick, subtle brain recharges.
Exactly.
So what does this all mean for you listening? Instead of constantly filling every moment with new information or tasks, maybe build in short, intentional periods of zoning out after you've learned something important.
Recognize these moments for what they are, a critical contributor to your cognitive function, not lost productivity.
It's permission to daydream, but with purpose. I know I'm personally going to try integrating short breaks, maybe just with eyes closed after complex meetings now.
It's definitely worth trying.
Okay, finally, strategy number 5. We arrive at the often undervalued, yet absolutely essential hero of memory and learning. Sleep.
Sleep. Can't overstate its importance.
It's something we all know is important, but let's be honest, we so often deprioritize it. The science, however, unequivocally shows its critical role.
Absolutely. A study published in Psychological Science provides really compelling evidence. They designed an experiment where participants learned new vocabulary.
Okay.
Then, 12 hours later, they either relearned it after a period of wakefulness or after a full night of sleep. There was also a control group who just recalled after sleep without relearning, just as a baseline.
Right, comparing wakefulness versus sleep between learning sessions
Veggie.
and the findings.
Quite remarkable. Participants who slept between learning sessions needed approximately half as many practice trials to relearn the material to mastery.
Half the effort. That's significant.
Definitely. Not only that, but they also showed significantly better long-term retention after 1 week and even after 6 months compared to those who stayed awake.
6 months later, wow.
Yeah. And interestingly, the total sleep time was positively correlated with both relearning speed and 1-week recall performance. So basically, more sleep really does lead to better memory outcomes in this context.
That makes intuitive sense.
And what's truly fascinating here is that the benefit of sleep was also, as they put it, immune to any diminishing effects induced by relearning, suggesting it actually amplifies what you've learned.
Amplifies it.
And crucially, the study concluded that sleeping between 2 learning sessions was a better strategy for long-term retention than just sleeping after learning.
Better than just sleeping afterwards. Okay, that's key.
Yes. This points to sleep-dependent memory consolidation as an active process where the brain actively reprocesses and integrates new memories into existing knowledge networks. It's not just passive rest.
Okay, so if we connect this to the bigger picture, you mentioned earlier that some of the brain processes happening during sleep, like reactivation.
Right, the brain replaying events, unique electrical patterns.
Those are also active during those short zone-out moments, the offline waking rest we discussed.
That's right. Many of the deep brain processes supporting consolidation during sleep are also present during offline waking rest.
So that raises an important question, doesn't it?
It does. Do offline waking rest and sleep support the same, or maybe dissociable, stages of memory strengthening? While they share mechanisms, sleep also has unique brainwave patterns, like sleep spindle oscillations and slow waves, which aren't present during wakefulness.
Okay, so there are differences.
Yes. And a new theory of disuse even proposes that sleep specifically increases the storage strength of memories, making them more stable over time and more efficient to relearn. It's almost like moving a fragile file to a more robust, easily accessible folder in your brain.
That's a great analogy. So for you listening, the message is clear. Prioritize a good night's sleep, especially after learning new, important information.
Absolutely. And consider interleaving your learning sessions with sleep. For instance, if you're tackling a complex subject, try a study session before bed. Get some solid sleep, then review the next morning before another learning session.
It's a powerful combination. Study, sleep, review, study.
Exactly. Now, while we've seen incredible progress in understanding memory, it's important to acknowledge there are still limitations in the research.
Sure, always are.
For instance, while we observe the brain replaying memories, that reactivation a direct causal link between that specific neural event and actual subsequent behavioral performance, like remembering better on a test, in humans still needs to be fully established.
Okay, so we see it happening, but proving it causes the better memory is still tricky.
Right. And this raises important questions about whether offline waking rest and sleep support the exact same or distinct stages of consolidation, and also if the memory benefits of just resting endure long-term without subsequent sleep. Does a quick rest help forever, or does it need sleep to really lock it in?
Those are big questions still to be answered.
Absolutely. Future research will continue to explore this, perhaps with non-invasive brain stimulation or targeted memory reactivation during wakefulness, as well as longer studies looking at rest without sleep to truly understand the intricate interplay of these vital processes.
Makes sense. So, wrapping this up then, there you have it. Memory and learning aren't just about active study and intense focus.
Not at all.
They're also profoundly influenced by the intelligent, intentional use of what we often dismiss as offline states. It's almost like our brain is doing this crucial work even when we're not consciously studying it.
By simply saying important information aloud, taking maybe 40 seconds for mental replay, making a quick prediction about your recall, incorporating short periods of intentional zoning out, and of course, prioritizing a good night's sleep,
All things we discussed.
you can significantly boost your memory and learning with minimal effort. These are neuroscience-backed steps that you can integrate into your daily routine right away.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? Given that our brains are constantly working to consolidate memories, even when we feel unproductive, what other seemingly wasted moments in our day might actually be hidden opportunities for profound growth?
That's a great thought to leave people with. Something to mull over until our next deep dive.
Thanks for tuning in to the Health Headliner podcast by Digital. Like and subscribe for more health news and breakthroughs. Stay healthy and informed. See you next time.